Two grown men, co-workers, football fans, zero expertise. Mike, George. Says there's nothing else on TV. Sit back, relax, and see what happens when two guys who work at the cable company steal 30 minutes of local access time while no one is looking on a channel that nobody's watching. This is the Mike and George Experiment.
It's Friday night at 8 o'clock. This is the Mike and George Experiment. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, folks.
How are you doing, George?
I'm doing good, except I'm freezing my butt off.
Yeah.
It's minus 6 degrees here in Paradise. And
we got up to minus 2 today, though.
I know, with a wind chill of minus 16, though. So,
yeah.
So could you turn the heat up a little bit?
It is cold.
Freaking cold. Hey, this is our, we don't know what the hell we're going to talk about episode.
We're going to talk about what happened with the Super Bowl.
What happened?
That was something else, huh?
No, it was...
Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks for taking
totally
the Broncos to school.
Right.
And
I've never seen a game like that. I've never seen a game quite so controlled by one team. And I've watched Super Bowls for a long time now. And I just haven't seen that. So it's pretty... Denver's got to feel pretty... not embarrassed, because Peyton says, "Don't say we're embarrassed." The rest of the team says they're embarrassed, but Peyton says that's not giving them enough credit and things like that, because they did make it to the Super Bowl, and they should be proud that
not only did they make it to the
Super
Super Bowl, but they had a fantastic year.
Yeah, they did. I mean, look at the year that Mr. Peyton had, Mr. Manning had. I mean, gosh, he was. MVP, he goes and wins those things on that show, and then he goes out and looks like the NFL Honor Show,
right.
Which there were quite a few people deserving on that, but and then he goes out and has a stinker of a game.
Sure did.
But still, he can't. There's nothing to hang your head about.
Well, you just got to hand it to the Seattle Seahawks. They could do no wrong, and
Totally
Denver
prepared.
could do no right.
Right. Totally prepared. Totally focused, totally like they wanted to win the game.
Every player on that side of the field knew what their mission was and knew what they had to do in order to get the best outcome. And it seemed as though every single Seattle Seahawk player did what they were supposed to do.
And really well. I mean, there wasn't any question. They were, again, focus is the word that I'd come up with. And Thomas, who had more catches than any on the Denver side.
Oh, Demarius, yeah,
had more catches in that game, which was pretty fantastic, than anybody else has ever had in history. And he separated his shoulder in the first quarter, so he played that game through the entire game.
It's pretty amazing. I didn't even really notice that.
I didn't either. No, I just found out.
Obviously, I noticed when he caught the touchdown. I know that they threw to him several times. Peyton was not afraid to throw to Richard Sherman's side of the field, and but
because Richard Sherman's people would hit Richard Sherman and he'd get hurt.
Well, that did happen.
Okay, throw it that way. Twice.
Yeah,
twice.
And the second time, it knocked him out of the game.
Right, and
but they were far ahead by that point.
Oh yeah, they didn't need Sherman at that point. But Sherman gave Peyton some really high praise. He said,
he did?
"Yeah, he did." After the game, when they all came up to shake hands and stuff, first thing Peyton says, "How's your leg? How you feeling?
How you doing?"
Yeah, how you doing? Which I think is really classy instead of moping. And Peyton's still a class act, and I think I don't think he'll ever not be a class act. So
I agree. Do you think he would retire? That question has come up, and it's actually one of the questions that came in, and but maybe now is a good opportunity to discuss that.
I don't know, Mike. There's still hey, I want to go out there and be successful in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think he will, and I don't want him to. I don't think now's the right time.
I want him to. I want him to from a selfish standpoint, because get him out of our division.
Right.
He could be traded. That'd be a good thing. But no, he's
they have
so
they have
good.
a tremendous amount of talent on that team,
But I don't think they're going to be able to keep all that talent. From what I was reading today, looks like maybe no Sean and maybe even Eric Decker. They're not planning on re-signing them. They're going to let all their key free agents test the market first before they do anything, which tells me they're looking at other options, I think, because Elway came on set. He said, nope,
that's interesting. Well, hey, come on back. We're going to tackle some more football. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. George, you're excited to be here, I am.
Let's keep talking. It's now -8 degrees, Mike. I'm trying to keep warm.
So, let's keep talking.
Oh yeah, got some more things to kind of trivial things and things like that.
All right, like what? What do you got?
Well, it may be trivial, but
I like trivia.
Russell Wilson was the shortest quarterback ever to win the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah, he's 5'11" or 5'10" and something, so he's the shortest guy to ever, height-wise.
You know, it's funny because I don't know if you've ever met any players in the NFL that they're short. I'm 6'2".
I have, yes.
And you know, I told you I met Sean Alexander and shot a game of pool, and you know, it's amazing. I won't give any more names, but it's amazing when you meet these athletes and they, you know, suddenly they're 6'1.5", and I'm like a head taller than these guys. If they're falling below 6 feet, they'll say 5'11", but they're really like 5'9".
Right, exactly. They have to fudge a little bit. Yeah. Well,
or they won't get looked at.
When we watched the Pro Bowl, you know, when they had the draft, when they came out when they drafted everybody looked human.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have pads or anything. So I said, that guy can't be playing football because he's about my size and he doesn't look huge or anything like that. So yeah, I was kind of wild seeing them, you know, without all the
you're not a small guy. I mean,
I'm just about 6 foot.
You know, so I'm
5'11.5".
George, you know, I played semi-pro ball.
Did you? Okay.
For the Helena Titans one season.
You were in that movie? Way to go.
Football.
Oh.
I played for the Titans, and you know, when those guys don't have their pads on, they're just like normal guys. They're just like you and I.
Well, that was the funny thing because even when I went to training camp,
I should say none of those guys are pros.
Yeah, but still, when I used to go to training camp for the Chargers when I lived in San Diego, you know, those guys still always had their pads when they were done training and stuff. You know, they always looked huge. And then I saw these guys at the Pro Bowl. Another bit of trivia. The guys that played, you remember those guys?
Oh, they played in the Super Bowl?
They played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, the Seattle, second team to have the first half shutout in history. So
Giants? Were the Giants?
I think it was Giants, yeah.
Against the Ravens?
Third largest margin of victory, 35 points. So there were, I don't remember one that was bigger than that, but evidently there was, and I don't have that.
Well, I've got one that goes along with that.
All right.
It was the Seahawks covered the spread by 37.5 points, and that's the largest in Super Bowl history.
Really?
Yeah. They were an underdog.
Yeah, they were 2.5
point
2.5 points. I remember that. Also, third head coach to win college championship and the Super Bowl. That was so. He's the third college coach to do that, and I don't know what the other two are. But
that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have that. And the third team to score on offense, defense, and special teams. So and I marveled at that anyway. That was a great stat that they won on each one of those. So
like we said earlier, every player on the field did their job the way they were supposed to do it, and it showed. Denver couldn't do anything.
It really was a pleasure to watch them because they were just intimidating. I think about at the half.
It was like watching a nature film, watching a shark eat its prey, and how they do everything exactly right.
Right.
It was a study on how things should be done. And, I know I had predicted it would go another way.
I think we all did.
Boy, that was
impressive. It was impressive, a pleasure to watch. And I think about the second half, you could see the Denver receivers not wanting to get hit again. They just knew what was coming, and it almost seemed like they were.
When they did get hit, they fell down.
They lost the ball.
Bouncing off and spinning off in another direction like they used to.
Yeah.
Like they were all year.
So they separated, what's his name, shoulder early on.
Yeah.
And then, I wouldn't want to be hit by those guys, because every time you saw the hits, saw this on the NFL network, they pushed him back 3 to 5 yards.
But not just him. It was also Wes Welker.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Every one of the guys.
I don't recall if
Welker didn't get much.
Was the same thing, but
he only got one. I think he only had one catch or.
Yeah, but I think he had one that he didn't get. It was a little overthrown, but
right. Yeah, that was the other thing. I've never seen Peyton so inaccurate. There was only one series that he.
But he was inaccurate because because the defensive line was breaking through.
Plus, they were bouncing these guys off their marks too.
I've never seen Peyton so hurried.
Right. Oh yeah, Mr. Happy feedback.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, hold on. There's the whistle. We'll come on back after these messages. So check these out. It's 8:15.
I think. Yeah.
All right, we're back.
We are back.
All right.
It's 16 below now, Mike.
What else do you have to say so we can close the book on the Super Bowl?
Close the book on the Super Bowl. Hey, viewership. 111.5 million viewers, the most watched television show ever.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
It's too bad the commercials weren't that impressive.
The commercials were
It's too bad the game wasn't that impressive.
But you got to say, you saw some.
You never really. You never really lost hope.
No, because you knew that they are good,
capable of.
They were capable of doing it. And then, I think what broke the back for me is when Percy Harvin ran the kickoff back, and then I said, I don't think they're coming back. But that's huge. That's they had 111.3 million 3 years ago. So that was New York Giants and the Pats, I think. So
I wonder how they come up with those estimates.
Nielsen, probably, you think?
Yeah, but I'm wondering.
How do they come? Well, yeah, I don't know. Do you know the formula? Can you help us with that? Matt, you should know the formula. You're a producer, for God's sake.
Why don't we talk about gambling for a minute?
Why don't we?
68% of the bettors. 68% of the bettors sided with the Broncos. So it was a pretty big payday. For
Seattle fans,
some gambling establishments.
Yes. Oh yeah, they took
the sports books.
I had
probably getting nervous.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, how about that? Did you hear about the one furniture company? I think it was in Denver that lost $7 million on a bet. $7 million on a bet. So did you hear about that?
That I heard about. I think I read something in the USA Today about a furniture store in Seattle.
Seattle, there we go. Yeah.
And everybody that bought furniture, like within
at least
a
$5,000
30-day period
got
prior
into this.
to, they said, we're going to reimburse you up to this amount if Seattle wins the Super Bowl for anything you buy that's up to this amount during this period of time.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, but they have insurance for that.
Well, sure they do, but still, $7 million is a pretty big
event insurance.
Pretty big deal, and they were still $7 million. It just seems like a lot of money. So even my insurance would probably drop me if I did something like that. So I think. Let's see. Shortest quarterback, third oldest coach to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
That was Mr.
You don't think of him as being an old coach. I think of him as being one of the younger ones. But,
that's what I said. Yeah, I said he's the
third
oldest
to win.
62 and 140 days.
Right.
You know, I thought he was like 45.
Yeah.
You know, and he looks it. He looks young, and he acts young on the sideline. So I think we're.
Hey, can the Seahawks repeat?
You know, that's something that I think they can. And that was one of my shootout questions, so we're done with that now.
I'm sorry. You even told me the shootout questions.
No, that's okay. Yes, and there's reasons for that. They're a young team, number one, and they're so well coached that I think they can do it. They've got good cap room. They've got a quarterback that's tremendous. However, he's only going to make like $650,000 next year.
Well, he's still on his rookie contract,
right?
As is
$650,000, and you know what is Peyton making? He's paying like $14 million this year.
I don't know.
Well, I think he is at $14 million.
I had 16.5 in my head, but
well, 16.5, 14.
He's probably making that much on his commercials.
So. Yeah, exactly. Pizza. No, that's not.
That's somebody else.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It seems like Seattle will want to keep as many players as possible,
and I think they have the opportunity.
That's what the challenge is going to be for them.
I think they have the opportunity.
Number one, you don't want to get rid of. You don't want to hold these guys to their rookie contract. You want to. You want to put them. You want to make them partners and make them want to stay. Don't keep them to their rookie contracts, but But again,
that's
you've
where
got
the
a cap.
And they've got a great cap room on that, so that's a good thing.
All right,
you know,
hold that thought.
Right,
we'll come back after these messages, and then we'll pick up right where we left off. Yeah! Welcome back.
Didn't mean to scare you.
All right, George.
Hey, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
One more Super Bowl thing is still reminding everyone that the 12th man still resides in College Station, Texas. The Seahawks pay A&M $5,000 a year to use the 12th man slogan.
Do they really?
I
did not know that.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
That's interesting.
$5,000 a year.
So they licensed that from Texas A&M.
They did, yeah. So they can use it as their slogan. I thought that was kind of cool.
My cousin Sam won a 12th man contest. I think she won like a tab at a tavern.
Yeah.
Because she showed the most spirit. She did a dance. She was all dressed up in her Seattle
she did a dance and she was dressed.
Yeah. Hey, that's my cousin you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's all I want to mention.
Sam's the one who got me down on the field when I went to the Seattle game.
Yeah, in Seattle, yeah.
She's got all kinds of friends on.
That's a great episode.
Richard Sherman was hitting on her, and so was Earl Thomas.
Sorry, Sam. I'd like to get on the field someday, too.
Forget it.
Forget about it now.
All right. I
have a shootout question. It's time for George's Super Bowl Shootout. Well, Mike, you already took my first shootout question. I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
But my second statement is Denver will not go to the Super Bowl next year.
I don't know what history tells us about the stats of that happening. And I wasn't aware that John Elway came out and said that we're not going to go after our free agents. We're going to let them test the market
until after they test the market.
I see no reason why they could not. Who's going to come back better than the Denver Broncos next year after they failed so miserably in the Super Bowl on every level of the game?
True. Well,
who's going to come out? Do you think Denver's going to run another kick out of the end zone 6 yards deep? Do you think another Denver center is going to hike a ball into the end zone anytime soon?
We can only hope. But now here's my
says the Chargers guy.
Charger fan. Well, there's there's a couple of things that I say about that. I think they were made to win this year. I think they were They were perfectly set at all positions and that sort of thing, except for defense, probably, to win this year. I think that was...
Well, Von Miller was injured.
Yeah.
They had a defensive injury.
Right. That was huge. That was huge. There were some injuries. They will lose some free agents this year. Just the fact that they're saying, hey, by the way, we're going to let these guys test the market. They're going to lose. And I think Eric Decker was one of them that they were thinking about they were going to lose.
I would think, Eric Decker is a very talented guy. Yeah. I would think they're going to let him test the market, and then maybe they'll match whatever he's offered on the outside.
The market for him is going to be huge. So they may not want to do that. They may just, groom somebody to take his place. They don't have much cap space now, and like I say, Peyton is making a lot of money. He's 14 to 16 million against the cap, and I think the AFC, except for maybe the Raiders, the other teams, the Chargers and Kansas City, are getting better, and I think teams are getting better at figuring out how to, like Seattle, how to
go up
against Denver.
So they're not going to do the same things the same way. They're going to come back and they're going to,
right.
I think they're going to improve just like everybody else, because if they do lose some guys, they're going to have to bring new guys in.
They got Moneyball who could take Noshawn's place, and who knows. But now we have an email at least.
Carol sent a bunch of questions in.
Bake.
Who is the favorite to win next year's Super Bowl as of right now? It's got to be the Seattle Seahawks.
I saw that. Actually, I saw that on the odds. The Chargers are 40-1, and you guys are 33-1 or something like that. Redskins are we're 33-1, and Washington is 40-1.
Okay,
but they're number one.
That sounds better.
Okay,
should Peyton retire? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
How long will this Browns coach last?
I think the Browns are all screwed up, and I think they made a mistake by getting rid of
It might be Cleveland altogether.
Yeah.
Will Eli bounce back after his worst season ever?
I hope Sheila does not. However, he's got, how can he get much worse?
Do bad. I want to see him bounce
How can he get
back?
much worse?
You're right.
So you said that. So I think he'll be better. Hi, folks.
Hey, it's been a great
year.
Week. You got to tune in next week because we have a special show for you, our behind the scenes episode.
Could be some secrets and or something else.
But look, you can catch the show on YouTube, Facebook, altitude.tv. Click on About Us, and then click on Affiliate Corner, and there we are.
So we're very proud of that.
Hey, I know football's over, but have a great football week anyway.
Only 170 days until training camp.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week.
And I am not supposed to do that. Look at him. Oh, God.
Hey, don't break the set.
Yeah, don't break this incredibly expensive microphone. Well, Mike, let's just drink then. Let's just drink and say...